Voice Party. This week's episode has been brought to you by All Roads Overhead's Garage Door. Let's be honest, this is the Bay Area. If you even got a garage, you're doing pretty well for yourself. So if you want to upgrade your life, why not start what matters most? The garage door. Upgrade your garage door today and upgrade your life. All Roads Overhead Garage Door. 510-375-8756. Upgrade your life today.
Yeah, no, we're good.
Oh, shit. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Voice Party. This is JD. We got our co-host back, Mr. Gaspar.
Hey there.
And then Phil's back on the lineup today.
How's it going?
People don't really know your voice because you're usually eating snacks and watching TV. Motherfucker.
It's a hard life.
It's a hard life. Got a very special guest. Local muralist. Is that what do you like to go by? What do you, when people, artists, artist is very like.
You know what? I think I'm just going with creative artists because I do a little, I do some sculpture work. I do carpentry work. I do construction, custom construction, and I'm venturing into welding and now a bunch of stuff. So
for art, like welding for art, metal art. Nice.
So.
And tell us your name. Tell the people your name.
My name is Richard Salazar.
Okay.
From Richmond. Richard from Richmond.
I follow your page for a while now, and I actually the reason I talked to one of your friends about having you on, and he brought up and it's crazy because he wanted to be here too. I met him at an art show, and he talked about, he's known you for a long time, Aldo.
Yeah.
And he wanted to have both of you guys here for this, but I don't know what happened with that. But I see you've been busy with murals, and how long have you been? In art scene like you are now? Because I'm sure it started as a kid painting and coloring outside the lines in the little color book. So how long have you been involved with that?
I've been drawing since I could remember. I've in school and in elementary, I've been bad with words and numbers. Now as an adult, I see that I have ADD or HD and some sort of dyslexia. So it's like to me, everything was pictorial. So I was born in San Francisco. So and we lived in the Tenderloin. So us like on a daily was like all I saw was murals and graphs. Man, that's all I saw as a kid. So
you said Tenderloin?
Yeah. And so I would just kind of question myself. I was why would they color the walls, and then it's just like these massive, and during that time ICP was the main, and they were just covering everything with murals. So me as a kid, we would walk all through the city and see all this color, man, and I was just always, I just fell in love with the color, man. And then my parents bought a house in Richmond kind of when I was about six years old. And when I came out here, man, there was nothing, man. It's like I went from a coloring book to just like
to like a blank
to nothing, bro. Just
blank canvas.
Yeah, man. So then like it was a huge shift for me. It was just kind of like since I felt like my mind's always been images and very pictorial. It's I've never been good with reading and math and stuff, so it's just always been pictures, images.
It's like a different intellect.
Oh yeah. So like it was very a hard adjustment for me. So like I stuck to drawing a lot, and I won my very first art contest in elementary school, and I won this box, man, of 300 colors, man. I was mind blown, dude. I can't believe it. I can say that.
Yeah, dude. You can say whatever you want.
I couldn't fucking believe it. Yeah, dude. That blew my mind, and from there, it's just like it was like I got free range, man, because like I had like these colors that like I didn't even know existed, dude. Like it was like this box of 3. It was like it was like back in the 80s, early 90s. I was born in 85, so
you like went down.
But still, it was like this huge box of just crayons, and from there, it was just kind of I never got off of that train.
Like having I guess I don't know what to call it, but just an interest in like colors and stuff. When you were a kid watching a lot of kids movies with all these colors, did that also kind of inspire you to? Because we mostly, you said, is the ICP crew, they were big and they're still out there, no?
Yeah, they're still big.
I think I met Joker. I met Joker for a film I was in.
Yeah.
He did the graffiti, so like because it was a film based on graffiti and I when I used to have friends who were involved in like street art, and before I got involved with them, I would look at that and it just looked like gibberish. And once you kind of hang out with them and you see, oh shit, you see the beauty of it. For you, I was gonna ask is like, was there some artist that stood out? Were you paying attention to artists? The word I'm asking, what I'm trying to say is
Kuna has inspired me in a way who I kind of look up to.
Because there's a lot of it has to do with the environment too, like the shit you see in the streets or in your neighborhood. It inspires your art, but there's also like some like I know Dream was big for a lot of young cats in that era. No,
definitely. Well, interestingly enough, bro, when I came out here, and since I didn't see a lot of the wall art out here in Richmond,
mm-hmm.
I was so much like saturated in the city, like I felt like I just dove into like studying, man, like just really going like and like what really motivated me was winning that art contest and getting this 300 crayons, man. Like from there I felt like I was from there you took
LSD and like
dude, like
and open up your brain to all the possibilities.
Since like school, I got bullied in elementary out here in Richmond. I got my ass whooped, so it was tough, man. So like I definitely felt like I kind of gave in to myself for a bit, but I took it more as an opportunity to kind of like deep dive into like some knowledge, man, and kind of study books and cartoons and just really drawing, kind of like I was watching this drifting for cars.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, how do you become great at, drifting cars? And they're like, seat time. It's kind of like the same thing, just like drawing time, dude. Right. It's like
that's what
it's just like boom, 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 like like the more it's till it becomes like
that, and that's a cool thing because you can just be at home and is that for you? So most of your you said you had a lot of you were getting beat up and stuff and going through bullying when you first moved to Richmond. Did that kind of was the drawing in a way an escape from that, like, or you just really liked the drawing? Because I know you said you because sometimes for me, like an example, I always liked making jokes, and I kind of had the same thing where I would get beat up growing up, or people would say, and the only thing I had to some of these dudes that were trying to beat me up all the time, I would clown on them. That was my way, that's how I kind of developed my comedic whatever, and
kind of pass it on to them,
exactly,
like I got it, so I'm gonna give it out,
it's the way I could do it. It's the only way I could do it. So it's because it is therapeutic, I'm sure for you.
It was, and I think to me, like I actually didn't discover graffiti out here in Richmond till like in my freshman year in high school.
Oh wow!
Till like
like
it was
discover it for yourself, like you doing
so
it.
For me to be like, I want to be a part of it, like.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
So what were you using to draw before freshman year?
Pencils, pens, and crayons and markers, and that's it, man. And I did that till all through middle, like, and acrylic on canvas and like and stuff. I did a few sculptures too, like in middle school, just working.
Damn.
So like, but just working with those mediums, not really focusing on typography like graffiti. It's graffiti is typography, man. For everybody out there to know, man. That's your foundation, bro. Don't call yourself a graffiti writer if you don't do if you don't know how to do any letters, man, I don't care who you are, bro.
Because it's all letters, right?
It's letters, bro. If
Yeah.
if you're gonna call yourself a graffiti artist, like
What's
your
typography?
foundation is typography, bro, and that's what it, and fonts and like, cause that's what graph is, man. And for you to tweak this alphabet to your own style and to your own graffiti, to your own shit, it's like
I've heard it being called calligraphy, or like the ones where they just put the marker, like that's okay, that's an interesting way of putting it, because
and to me that's like the foundation to what graffiti is, man. It's just
it's like another
like
form
the
of
letters, bro. It's
lettering,
bro, lettering
like Times New Roman.
I hate Helvetica.
That's I've never heard it being called that. Because it is all letters. I just, you think about it, it's all letters. Like,
but eventually, it evolved to a point where it's like, oh man, I want a force field now, and I want like a background, and oh man, now I want the characters. And now it's like a production, and then from a production it goes into a mural, and then you're like, now you're busting 40-foot murals. You're like, oh crap, like, how did I get from a tag to this? Now I'm doing a 40,
that kind of, man, see that's what I want to ask you. So it's seen, you like you say, you got introduced to graffiti what age, like freshman year?
My freshman year of high school, man. There was
you got introduced to, like, you started going out with people who were doing it, or because you saw it before in San Francisco, but never really...
I was in chemistry class, man, and there was this one of my Asian homies. And I didn't really know he knew how to draw, man. But I saw him one day. He was like in front of me, and he was just sketching this stuff, and he was just going hard. And I sat behind him, and I'm like, "What the hell are you doing?" I'm just kind of like, I looked at him, and he wrote OB1, like OBE, and then 1, and I was just like, what is that?
What does that mean?
What does that mean? He was like, that's my tag name, bro. I'm OB1, bro. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
And then
that's funny.
And then from there, and then me kind of getting schooled from him a little bit, like that's when I put one, like 2 and 2 together, and I was like, all this shit that I was seeing in the city, it was all these guys, that are like with these, these like alter egos.
Yeah.
And now I see it as that.
Right.
I was like, fuck.
Which is kind of cool.
You got a name, but at the same time, it is your alter ego.
Yeah.
Bro. It's like another fucking dude. Me being the Gemini, I definitely, even now, mentally, I separate my shit. But even now in my own realistic life, I do too. Like,
you kind of merge it into
I gotta separate my shit from, my professional life, you know, like, it's 2 separate worlds, man. And I fight hard to keep it that way, bro. Because, once it starts bleeding through, bro, it's just, it's,
it can affect your shit you got going now.
To that too, Yeah. So
that's what I was going to ask you.
Did you take art classes in school?
Yeah, most definitely. I took art classes all since I could remember, from being a kid. The arts was a huge thing back then. There was art classes everywhere. All through Downer. I went to Downer Elementary here in Richmond, and dude, it had 2 amazing art teachers, man. Like, I won that art class just because I drew 2 little robins, and they were pretty realistic, and they were like,
you still have some of those? Like,
yeah, I got all that shit.
You got all that stuff?
I got all that stuff, and like, so it's like, going from that to like middle school, I went to Helms Middle School, and even there, they had amazing art programs. They had an amazing art teacher. I learned a lot from them, like, really, like I said, from that time, since I was kind of being bullied, I just kind of like just focused on myself and I really loved art, so I just pursued it even harder,
Yeah.
And then so like all through middle school and even Richmond High. Richmond High had a mechanics to fix your car program. Now they don't have none of that stuff.
They had woodshop.
They had woodshop, bro. They had art. They had like all these amazing classes.
So
they
cut all that.
They did.
Yeah. All that's on, dude.
It's funny that you said that, because like I remember the woodshop classroom that I was in. Even though I had a woodshop class at the time, it was kind of on the decline. Like, it was only 1 class.
Were you guys in high school?
I graduated in 08. I don't know when you.
I graduated 03.
You're
03. Oh, okay. So,
but I remember when I had those, it was already on the. Dude, we would all day just making wooden penises. Like we weren't really being taught anything, just to fuck around, and shortly after all that shit was gone. So
you know how if they took away the music program and it brought out hip hop came into existence.
Oh,
it's
no.
like we'll chop away and then you guys are creating penises.
Like well, the thing we had is like whoever had the biggest one, you would like walk around behind one of your friends and like slap them. And back then we had the little Nokias where you could record. So that was the thing. It was just because there was only one teacher and it wasn't a serious, they weren't taking, Crazy Richmond High kids,
Yeah, little pranks here.
Yeah.
That never hurt.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's crazy because like, I remember, like watching, like you've seen Infamy, I'm sure, that movie.
Yeah.
And like a lot of those guys are now famous artists that are making maybe millions. Like I know that dude from MSK, he sued a company recently. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah,
Revoke.
Yeah. And
H&M for
H&M, yeah.
For,
and it's crazy to see like what they did is considered illegal, and now they're like, it's so like seeing that.
I had to do the same thing with my murals. I had to copyright one of my murals.
No way.
It's absolutely, man. I sued Chevron.
Oh shoot!
Yeah, they try to use the imagery for my mural for one of their PR campaigns, and we try to negotiate a price, and I have my media fee, and they refused to pay it, so they went ahead and printed out their PR campaign, and I went ahead and I sued them, man, and I won the case. So.
You won the case.
Good for you, man.
Congratulations, man, because those
man.
motherfuckers are ruthless.
You gotta stand up for your shit, man, because nobody else will, bro.
Yeah.
Like, and if you don't know your rights as an artist, and like, there's tons of help now. There's internet now, bro. Like, I didn't have this shit. I didn't have internet as a kid, bro. Like, now, you could be 12 years old and have copyright. You could copyright everything, dude. Like, definitely. And after that, surely enough, like, I almost got it kind of opened the door to bigger projects. It's kind of crazy because after that, Honda hit me up. So
no way.
So Honda also wanted to use my imagery, and sure enough, I got my lawyer and we negotiated a price, and and it worked out. But at the same time, like, just because this art is in public spaces doesn't mean you as an artist don't have a right to it.
Right.
Or like, I don't care if you go and take a picture of it and you're like sending it to your homie, you're like, oh, bro, check this out. But once you try to make a buck out of it, then I have an issue, bro, because that's my shit that you're printing out, And then then I need $1 from that too, bro, because like that's not right. Like, I don't mind you doing your product, but give me my slice of the pie.
Your cut,
give me my slice of the pie. And then.
Because you took a lot of time to make
and also it becomes this whole question with like selling out, and like, but it's like, and what the hell am I doing it for? Like, am I doing it to catch a bigger police case or record? Like, like, no, I'm not. Hell no, bro. Like, I'm getting older. I can't run. I can't run from the cops, or my knees hurt. Shit.
And you want to do this as a career? Like, this is what you want to do.
I love. Like, what other route do you have besides like selling your work, bro?
Yeah.
If you want to continue pursuing this dream, quote unquote, what I'm saying? Like, but like a real hustler will tell you, dreams are for suckers. If either you do it or you don't. That's it. That's what it comes down to. Like, fuck the trying. Like. Either you're doing it or you're not, and that's what it is. And like,
how long have you been selling your artwork?
It's always been kind of on and off throughout the years, and not really pursued it professionally till actually like about kind of like 6 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, till really got I'm sorry, about 7 years ago.
7 years ago,
where I was approached by a nonprofit organization to get paid to do a mural. So it's then where I was like, okay, like I'm gonna try to hop on the boat and see where it takes me, and try to make a living out of it, and it's obviously you got your waves, And
your school was like the streets, huh? Like, I mean, cause that's what a lot of the stuff you do is kind of like that, like.
Of course, you gotta have a practice ground, you gotta have. That, as I say, that seat time, when you want to drift a car, bro, you can hop in the seat, like there's, you're not going to do it on a PlayStation 2, so it's seat time, bro. Like,
Yeah, no, yeah, like
do it. Yeah,
it's you know when I think of like artists, because you know for me I'm not in that scene, so it's kind of hard to understand.
Yeah.
You know, like for us, we gotta go hit the open mics and perform in front of drunk people who don't want to listen to comedy, and
other comedians who don't want to listen to your comedy.
Who don't give a fuck about you either. And
no, but you know, because people say trying, but the reality is that you're doing it. You know, so it's almost like saying trying. It's almost like demotivating. You know, that's how I feel like.
It does seem that way,
bro. Because like, well, I'm not trying, bro. I'm doing it, bro. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I don't know what you're talking about, you know. I can't relate to that, bro.
Right,
I'm doing it, you know. I'm not trying, you know.
You're on it all the way.
Yeah.
What I was gonna ask is like when you were, doing the street art, you know, when you're in there and you're doing it, possibly somewhere where people are not even gonna walk, you know, mostly just homeless people. It's just gonna be there, like I guess for other people who don't understand and see why do they do that shit, you know, what do you get out of that? Like, let's say hypothetically you go under, like, let's say under a tunnel somewhere and you do some big old beautiful piece and most likely no one's ever going to see it.
Yeah.
For you, what does that do? Like as an artist, as a street artist, like,
man, like, I think that's the purest form of art there is, bro. Like, to be, because that person does that artwork knowing that the lifespan of that work can be from an hour to 5 years to 10 to 20. You don't know, bro.
Yeah.
Each piece has its own lifespan, bro, and you do it with the intent that hopefully it survives, bro. You know, and some people see and some people don't, bro. There's work out there that I've done that I don't even have pictures of that already got painted over, and it's like, you know, so to me, like.
Because it can be heartbreaking, something beautiful.
It is, bro. Yeah. It is, like, you know, even these murals that you know, someone can, you know, come and erase it and that's it, bro. So it's kind of like,
that's why,
you know, it's that constant knowing that like it's not on a canvas, bro. So it's not going to be stored forever.
You run that risk regardless when you do it. Like it might not.
But I don't even see it. I don't see it as a risk. No, you know,
because it's gonna be up there regardless.
Like I you know, like I create. Because I know it's gonna get destroyed. You know, that's the constant battle of I feel like of a true artist. You know, you have that constant battle of wanting to create and at the same time wanting to destroy. Like it's the double identity that I feel like I've been dealing internally. You know, as a Gemini, you know, you have that constant.
So you said
urge of trying to do both.
I see what you're saying. It's kind of like when they go bombing. I know that's a thing. Does that feel more of a destructive thing or a creative
what does that mean?
Thing? When they go like basically, well, I'll have you explain. I'm sure you know.
Yeah, it's just like
it's usually just a signature, right?
It's a graph term for just kind of like going all city, as they say, and just tagging everything pretty much.
Like nonstop.
Every surface that you can find, or
I would say bomb is actually the actual real act of vandalism.
That's more vandalism. We consider it more vandalism.
Yeah.
So that's where it's more destructive than
that's
actually going and piecing up.
That's the destructive side of graffiti that nobody likes.
Yeah.
You know, that the whole stigma of like evil and fucking. That's where poor comes from, because graffiti represents poor, and like that whole stigma of that aspect comes from bombing, and that's what society hates. But that's what earns you the respect in the game, in a sense, you know. Yeah. You know,
because I know that kind of brings like people that actually, some art. I mean, because I'm sure every artist does both. At one point, you know, it's cool
bro,
to see.
even if you're putting up a sticker is vandalism, bro. So it's like, I mean, what's your, you know, what is vandalism, bro? You know, if you pee on the ground, that's kind of,
that is true.
Littering. If littering is vandalism,
littering is worse than vandalism, I think. Bro, you know, like that kind of.
You know, if you grab your food and you got your crap and you throw it out your car window, that's vandalism too. Like, you know.
It does more.
Like, you don't want to recycle your shit from your house and you throw it on the side of the freeway or whatever. That's all that shit, you know. It's just what your perspective is what vandalizing is, you know.
Yeah, because they can paint over the fucking graffiti if they want. If they don't want it there, you know, and it doesn't really do harm. I never saw it as a, you know, it's crazy. When I was a kid, I used to see graffiti, like when I would go, mostly in Oakland, you know, when I was growing up, because I grew up, born and raised in Richmond, And yeah, I didn't see a lot of graffiti in my earlier days, mostly gang stuff.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's funny because like I got this joke a long time ago when I first started stand up about I hated math. And then I would walk down the streets and I would see X3, X4. And I'm like, no, there's fucking maths everywhere. But like when I first started seeing graffiti, like not like the like dope stuff, like I as a kid I thought that like the city decorates these neighborhoods like it's beautiful. But then I started discovering all this shit's illegal. Like and some of the most like dopest pieces of art that I've seen in like alleys and
Man, there's some spots that that we walked an hour and a half to get to, just to be able to paint it, it's just weird, man, the dedication and that some of these guys have to really just paint, man. Like to me, I feel like they represent what organic art is, what we as human species really came from, and like trying to draw our history or being a bridge from bringing this bridge of like what people feel and see to visually seeing it, in a visual art form,
What's on that same note, what's like the most danger you've encountered like trying to get a piece done, like maybe in somewhere that's hard to get to, like somewhere it was hard to get to? Because I'm sure
definitely the higher you go, the but even sometimes even the places you go paint can dangerous. Oakland is definitely crazy.
Like that
even just going in the train tracks, bro. I have a few friends that got hit, that passed away from being hit by a train. So really?
That's what you just did something to film something. You walked to
we went to this ghost town down in San Jose called Drawbridge, and it's like this little island that's abandoned, and the only way to get there is across these Amtrak tracks that are still in use. So me and my buddy had to like time it so we weren't on the tracks when the train was coming.
Yeah,
I'm sure you've done stuff like that.
Yeah, bro. And then me looking back on it, I was like, "Fuck, that's retarded." Like who the hell do that? And then and then it's that age old question of like the people that don't know how it's like how did that get up there? It's like, oh, how the hell did this guy travel fucking 2 hours of hiking and there's a piece up here? It's kind of it's like there are definitely different avenues to graffiti. To people that are truly dedicated to those really unique spots that that require that much more time and effort.
That's impressive as hell, though. Like, someone that takes the time to get to something like that, because it's funny. We were talking about this a while back, because I like horror films and horror shows, and one thing that I don't know if you ever remember watching those shows where they would go to haunted places and they would like be testing and shit, and like this place has been abandoned for years. But there's hella fucking graffiti. Like man, shut up! Like you fucking the graffiti artists were there without probably any fear. Like get the fuck out of here.
Those were painting in the dark.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, probably drunk and high as fuck, and like
there ain't shit here.
There ain't shit here. Yeah. So like
I've seen some of those Ghost Adventures, some of those episodes. So dude, shut your ass up. There's like 5 pieces on the back and like tags here and there.
Yeah.
Like no people.
I'm sure you've been in like some sketchy spots that felt like ugh. Like,
oh yeah, man. Been to some an abandoned hospital.
Oh no way.
Oh dude, that's just nuts, man. We went to this abandoned school. There's been out here in the Bay. There's a lot of industrial areas, so there's a lot of abandoned factories, warehouses, and stuff like that. So. And a lot of those are pretty not just dangerous to be in and like walk around because everything's like rusted and like you can fall through any floor.
The foundation's
not just that, but there's like asbestos and like everything's like lead paint and like, and then on top of that, you're spray painting in there. And
and then the closed area and stuff.
Yeah, dude. So it's like it's definitely not healthy.
I know you redid one of the famous murals in Richmond on McDonald, right? That was you.
Yeah.
So it's crazy because I grew up in that area, right down the street from there, and I used to walk to school. I remember walking, and I don't know. Do you know who the artist was for that original mural, like before?
That was on that panel.
That was on that. There was like a dragon. There was like drugs and stuff.
Yeah, no, that was actually it was an art program from the Richmond Art Center.
Okay.
So they did this art program with these kids, and a bunch of kids painted these panels. So there were a bunch of panels there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then so the city of Richmond decided to. I took them down, and they decided to store them.
Oh, they're still available.
So they're still stored. Yeah.
The reason I bring
I don't know what happened to them ever since then, but
Okay.
I don't know what they're. But that mural, yeah.
But you redid it though, right? You redid the whole mural there. That's your art.
Yeah.
That's it, dude. Good
Yeah,
job
it's-
on that. That's beautiful, man. And the
Thank
reason
you.
I appreciate it is, like I said, I grew up in that area, and you know what
Yeah.
I'm talking about, right? The mural on McDonald Avenue. It's McDonald Avenue, right?
McDonald and Harbor Way.
McDonald and Harbor Way. There's for a long time. Well, I used to walk in front of those every day as a kid with going to school, and I remember it was like drugs, and then there was like a dragon. Like some of the images were kind of dark.
Got dark,
And it just made me feel like this is what the area is. It kind of makes you feel like this is a bad area. You know, it does something. Art does something to your brain, just like advertising does something to your mind.
Yes.
So seeing that just let me know, like, yeah, this is a fucked up place. And now that you updated it, it's like the city is taking on, and because it's a whole different thing, and
it's a whole different vibe, man.
Yeah, and more positive and more.
Definitely the visual aspect has a huge part in everybody's psyche, menti. You know, like of course, man. You know, you seeing something dark to compare it to something bright is it's gonna have a huge mental effect, bro. You know, it's like the city of Richmond has been truly lucky that we've had the arts and culture department had an amazing woman. Her name is Michelle Seville. She just retired, but she's been a huge advocate pushing the arts programs and literally flood the city with art money. You know, that comes from the state. The state gives us money to the city of Richmond. And the city of Richmond does mini grants to any applicant to be able to present a art project and do it. You know, like do it. The money's here. Present the project and get it done. And that's pretty much what I've kind of been doing the past few years. Is every single year applying or working with nonprofits to work as an independent contractor, as a muralist to help them with their projects and you know, teach and advocate and not just doing that, but for everybody to see the visual work, you know, because even that, like by inspiring a few people, like that's gonna you know, benefit the community tenfold, you know, because now you have 2 new muralists that have been like, you know, like mind blown. I feel like I want some of the kids in Richmond to walk around when I walked around in San Francisco and see all these visual, you know, elements from our city. Because a lot of the murals right now are all historical projects and community-based murals that have happened with the community there, community-based. So, you know, definitely before you start getting this flood of other artists from out of the city, and like, because even that has a huge impact on, like, you know, like, because at the same time you want the art to represent the community and, you know,
and involve the community
because like I see all these street artists, quote unquote, you know, like and then you fly everywhere, but you know, what's this like? Maybe those people don't like your work on, you know, that live 2 blocks down from your shit, you know, like what did you do to like incorporate their ideas to produce something that's gonna heal them. That's not just your artistic career, you know, like and I think that's where, you know, the street artist, you know, title kind of like has like a negative gentrification feeling to it, because, you know, they do. I've had this conversation before, like when I'm painting a mural, when they're like, oh, like what's the property value going to be on here now? You know, it's like, and that is true, you know, because it is a piece of artwork that is that's something that costs money to make, you know. So
and they
like
preserve
it does,
no?
and it's preserved, and it's, you know, part of the city's history now. Like it's part of the face of the city, you know, and like, and that's a huge responsibility. That's trying to be the artist and pursue this front line, you know, kind of. I mean, of course, there've been muralists before me, but like, it's really, it's trying to pass down the torch now, you know, and that's what it is coming down to now, you know, and especially now at these times, like it's what bigger wave of a rush can we get than right now, especially with these times, you know, with this current administration. You know what, it's like this is the time. The time is now to really pass down this torch, you know,
and it's really important to like you know, for the arts to, you know, just to kind of flourish again with everything, filmmaking, comedy, art, the visual arts, you know, because when times are bad, that's when people look to the arts.
Yeah.
And I know that's right now you seem to be being busy, so that's why.
Yeah.
That's why. When did you do your first mural?
I did my first mural with Gompers Continuation High School.
Yeah.
They had the mural right there on the Richmond Greenway.
Oh, okay.
And I was invited with a bunch of friends, and then so. Yeah, we had and that's crazy because I feel like that mural really kicked off a lot of the other murals in Richmond that we are seeing now, because that led to a graffiti ordinance in the city of Richmond, which I think is the first one in the state of California.
What does that mean, like the ordinance?
A state ordinance meaning kind of like giving right to art pieces that are on walls. Mm-hmm. That if it has more than 2 colors, then it's considered an art piece. You know, so like you could go up and do some graffiti, bro. But if you use more than 2 colors, like we're gonna leave it up, you know. So
that's dope. I didn't know that.
So
I've lived in the city
because the city, well, not just city of Richmond, but any city would, you know, if they see it as graffiti, they're just gonna remove it, you know.
Yeah.
But the city of Richmond, with the first mural, city of Richmond made us buff our own mural because we did graffiti pieces, a graffiti style mural. So, and then the city of Richmond didn't like that. We had a graffiti style mural in the city, so they made us buff our own mural, literally, or we were gonna get fined, and the owner of the building was gonna get fined as well. So, the following day, after we literally finished the mural, we went and buffed the whole thing, and after that, we sued the city, and we were like, dude, like this is our First Amendment right, you know, like we need to come up with a. You know, pay us for our paint, our time, whatever, and pay us for the next mural, you know?
Yeah.
And they agreed, and sure enough, we got the. And I try. This is a whole group of collaboration with organizations and individuals, and a lot of community leaders and artists too. That took some time to really put this together and move forward with it with the city of Richmond.
What year was this when that happened? You said a long time ago.
I want to say about like,
because I didn't know about this ordinance.
I was like I think about 8 years ago.
Oh, okay.
I want to say about because I started doing murals about 7 years ago, 7-8 years ago. Yeah, that was the first one about 7 years ago. 7 years ago.
But you had already experience with other stuff, like.
Most definitely. Yeah, most definitely.
And then you mentioned something earlier that I kind of wanted to talk about because, like, I know what the street artist thing has gotten huge with like Banksy getting popular and stuff like that. How do you feel about like those guys? Like, because I know you said like the traveling street artists.
Yeah.
I'll let you.
Well, I mean,
about, like,
what
do you mean
know,
by that? Like, is it because to a certain extent does their shit like feel not organic? You know, like yours, that you're all here and you're from the area. Is that what it's what you meant?
No, I mean like. Yeah, I mean, I think any artwork that you know pushes the boundaries of art, or you know that you're contributing to the game, you know, quote unquote, you know, the graffiti game, and you're not just like producing crap, as they say, you know, like, you know, definitely my respects to those that push those boundaries further, man, that really open the consciousness and really provoke thought and questions, you know, like. To our, you know, some of the deepest questions that us as a species have, you know, or the issues, or you know, like whatever that may be to each country, you know. So like, I think, you know, if you're traveling and that's, you know, like, then bro, what better you know, sometimes these murals are better than a book sometimes, you know. Like you sit there, bro, and you're like, fuck, I know what happened here, you know, kind of like, you know, like
they tell good stories.
And then sometimes, you know, and some of these kind, you know, I don't know if everybody is literate to what point, you know, so like having that visual aspect is definitely a positive to every community.
Yeah.
But definitely, I think reaching out and having their input, it's not a bad thing either.
Right.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
When
you like now that you're more involved, you become more involved with the community now, right? Like with through your art, right?
Most definitely, yeah. That first mural that opened huge doors to, I've been in and out of the nonprofit sector since I was about 16 years old. So, seeing everything and really the possibility and all opportunities and possibilities that you can grow with a lot of the training and how to really organize, mobilize, and execute projects and stuff like that. So
you become more involved with now that you have become more involved. That's affected your art. How has it? Like the what you put out there. Like, do you have more of a sense of responsibility to what you put out there with your murals and stuff?
Oh yeah. Because like I said,
I'm sure that
whatever you put out definitely affects affects
who's watching it.
Who's gonna watch it? I don't want to paint a violent mural next to an elementary school. Come on, man. Like that. It's things like that is what kind of you want to think about. When you paint your stuff, or when you go into different communities, and definitely don't want that. But
because it does do whatever you look at, even no matter what age you are and how whatever you are. It subconsciously does something to you, what you look at, and like what you watch on TV, what you listen to in music. So, and I know you do stuff with urban tilth also. Is that something that you kind of discovered through the art?
I've been working as an independent contractor on and off with urban tilth for many years. We started in a collaboration with CRP. It's another nonprofit organization in Oakland called Community Rejuvenation Project, which it's a collaboration of international artists of all over the place, and and then really just trying to bring together to produce beautiful murals and uplift neighborhoods. And so we had that project in collaboration with Urban Tilth and CRP and myself. And we painted in the span of 3 months. In the span of 2 months, we painted 8 murals.
Oh damn!
On the Richmond Greenway. So.
Oh, I think that's how I may have heard of you through. Are you familiar with Fonz?
Yeah.
Because he's doing. I know he's applied for the grant.
Yeah.
For that, I actually worked on one of the Richmond grants. Someone got it for a film, and I kind of just started paying more attention to. I never really did pay attention. And then I did a comedy show. We did a comedy show for Urban Tilth, and I like what they do.
Oh, at Armistice?
Armistice.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I missed you guys.
I know. You were there?
No, I showed up. I literally showed up after your guys' set. Just finished.
Damn. That was a good show that day.
Yeah, everybody was talking about it.
Yeah, no, yeah. And they, that's how I started to pay attention to what they're doing with the Urban Tilth, and I talked to them because I want to have them all come here and talk about what they do. But what I was gonna say is my other question I had for you is like, as far as artists that you look up to, like who has been like one of the most influential artists that, because what I was gonna ask is I know Basquiat, he started in the streets, and then all of a sudden he's he's in the galleries selling for whatever hundreds of thousands of millions now, even though he's dead. What artists that that you kind of not inspired, you're just a big fan of, because I'm sure you pay attention to that stuff, like pay attention to the comics,
definitely a lot of the artists that I pay attention to, I've all been kind of just graffiti based. I feel like that's my foundation to everything, to whatever, regardless of what I do or anything. It always comes down to some of my big are actually, they're still painting right now. Someone that I saw when I was younger was Apex,
Apex, okay.
And Apex, Steel.
I think I've heard of that. Yeah,
from MSK's.
Yeah, that whole crew is savage.
There's this guy they used to tag Bliss.
Yeah.
From San Francisco.
I think I remember that. Yeah.
Gator. What else?
You met some of these people?
I met a few guys. Yeah, definitely. And then, of course, throughout the years, you meet and greet, and some people fall off the list, and sometimes you meet them, and they don't seem to be like the person doesn't represent the art, kind of like it's kind of
That's what I hate about.
Man, this guy's a dick, That's
what I hate about me.
Like it's kind of like I kind of don't like his work anymore, It's kinda, kind of like as we kind of meet the person, it's kind of I know I've kind of maybe just me or kind of how that's how
maybe they're having a bad day, but I know what
maybe
you're
they're
saying.
just having a shitty day or not. But sometimes you can just tell me like, man, this guy's a dick, and then people hop on the list and drop. You're like, oh man, this guy's cool, and like now his work just seems that much more like, well, of course knowing the background and the history to some of the stuff, you're like, oh shit, man, that's deep, so this guy fucking took some time, like
I see what you're saying. That's why I'm kind of hesitant to meet like people that I'm fans of. I mean, I like for example, a few months ago I went to see Iron Maiden in Sacramento with a couple of friends, and I actually you can see I have the flag there. I'm a big fan of Deftones. And when I was walking in the arena, I actually saw the drummer and the other member of the band, and I saw them, and I was like, oh damn, they're like right there. They're just like regular people, and I was hesitant because I was like, what if it makes me, what if I have a bad experience and it ruins the music for me? So I was kind of hesitant, but like fuck it, let's just go. And luckily enough, ended up talking to them for a while, and we had beer, and it was cool.
Nice.
But if it would have been bad, I think I was like, man, I'm fucking erasing all this shit off my phone. Taking that down.
Now you got a grudge against them.
And it does
towards them. Fuck these guys now.
And it does affect the way you look at the art.
Man. Just
like the people turning on Kanye. We talked about that last week, just because of what he's doing and stuff.
Yeah, what a shift, man. The man started very political. I mean, the man he got famous for saying that President Bush hates black people.
Yeah.
And, the irony that he's
supporting Trump,
is what's some ass backwards shit,
That is some ass backwards ass shit. So with like your main, I guess your influence, it's still like to your very core graffiti artist. Like that's who you really.
I got plenty more. All my Richmond-based homies, and everybody that I grew up looking up to, and like, I don't want to.
But
like,
I see what you're saying.
All the homies and like everybody that influenced all my work too. Hanging out with them and having all those scumbag nights, as we call them sometimes, it's man.
When you get into like, when you get into your, I guess your lab or wherever it is you get creative, like I sit and write, whatever. When you have that space for yourself, how do you get yourself into creative mode? Like, is there specific music that you listen to, or something that you like, what gets you like going? Like, what do you have ritual that you do before you start painting or drawing?
Yeah, man.
Just being alone.
Well, I mean, when I head over to the studio, man.
You have a studio.
With one of my pretty much I know him since elementary school, but he's a good friend of mine, one of my biggest supporters, and I support him as well. And his name is Will Genaro, and he's the owner of the Shop Studios up here in Hilltop. And I have and my art studios inside those studios as well. Okay, so it's a bunch of little studios in there. So
it's separate from your home. It's not even
correct.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah. So yeah, man, I go in there in the morning. I work as an independent contractor, so my 9 to 5 is at the studio. And if I'm not sending emails or cranking or drawing or figuring out what's the next project or pushing the boundaries or what the hell, I'm not paying rent, so it's like well, first off, I mean, I definitely show up and I hit the bong, hell yeah. Fucking,
hell yeah. It really calm your nerves down.
Yeah, hell yeah. Have some nice tea, just kind of meditate for a little bit. And if I'm currently working on a project, hop on it and definitely just put the Pandora on shuffle or my YouTube
What
channel.
kind of music you into?
A little bit of everything, man. Lately, I just been cranking a lot of rock reggae,
Okay.
a lot of Tribal Seeds.
The reason I ask is
Revolution.
Yeah,
a lot of
okay,
Revolution
okay.
Right now, so.
I like to ask, like I see your art, and I'm always curious, like, what does he listen to? So yeah. That's why I ask. For me,
But I definitely, when I get that urge to paint some yards and stuff, I'm definitely not listening to Bob Marley.
Yeah.
Like I'm listening to Rage Against the Machine
yeah.
and some fucking Metallica and like some shit that's gonna get me.
Gets you in the mood.
That gets me hyped. Most definitely that. So.
When like there's a rush you get from like the street.
Oh, most definitely, man. And
and I wanted to ask about that.
I think that's definitely the addictive aspect of what a lot of, because I've talked to hundreds of graffiti, or maybe not hundreds, I'm maybe exaggerating. A lot of graffiti writers.
Yeah.
I talked to a lot of graffiti writers, but it's the same answer, man. It's like that rush, man. That in a sense, you're kind of doing something bad and you're getting away with it. Kind of like the big fuck you to the man, and like and you get to go home and sleep, and wake up and drive drive next to your shit.
Yeah.
Drive by your shit and take a picture.
It's kind of like
that's what everybody does now.
Yeah, I've seen this movie, like I forgot the name, but it was a hitman, and like he would go and he'd kill somebody, and then he'd walk around and like, oh, they found the body, like, oh wow, like but he knows it's him, and he kind of had this like, I did that.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's kind of like that rush, no? Like
that's a pretty spot on description.
Yeah,
I just did that shit.
And when you were in that, like, was it kind of like you kept it from people, and like your family, friends? Like, I mean, obviously not your crew, but like, was it something like, oh yeah, because I had a friend who I didn't know was involved in this. He kept it kind of like a secret from me, but like we would go to a bar, and then I would walk into the bar and I'd see that thing and like, oh shit, like I was just here now. I came back and like there's this little tag up there or a sticker with his whatever thing on there. And then eventually I found out through someone else that this, and I would see like the artwork out in the streets and like, oh, that's you? He's like, yeah. Yeah, that's me. But I keep it very, because, the more you talk about it, the more it gets out and blah, blah, blah. And I don't even carry books with my stuff on it. Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, back in the day, it was definitely much more, you definitely had a double life. Nowadays, bro, nobody gives a shit now, kind of like, it's hard to have any privacy now, really, But, no, I never felt like, never really hid it from my friends, obviously. Everybody was like,
I see it. Like,
everybody's encouraging, and definitely didn't. It was. I definitely kept it. I hid it first from my family for a little bit, but it didn't really last long. Once I caught a few cases, it's kind of hard to hide. So. And then, I've been in and out of the court system since I was 15. And even now, I'm not dealing with the criminal aspect side of it. I'm dealing with the family court system. And it's just, it's something that it definitely takes a toll, man, too. Dealing with the legal system as far as some of the consequences of your actions, shit, like
this,
and some, and some of them were, I guess, I've been just and some have been unjust, but
so as much as so okay, I'm new to this sort of thing. So you're painting something, the owner of a building gets you in trouble, cops passing by gets you in trouble. What is it that gets an artist into legal trouble?
I guess it depends on the property. It depends if obviously if you're painting a city property or state property. Once you start painting federal property, bro, you get into felony charges.
Shit,
and shit hits the fan real quick. With time, you know.
Yeah.
Of course, that's a whole lot different if you tag on somebody's fence, you know, like
Right. Yeah.
But like it really depends on where you're painting, you know, like and if the owner, the times that I got caught, the owner of the building did want to press charges, so
did.
Yeah. Did. So in that case, so then you just kind of go through the criminal system and be like, you know, yeah, I'll buff it and you know, do some community service hours, you know.
Oh, okay.
You know,
and this is something that's inevitable for artists.
If you get caught.
If you get caught, man.
That means that there's plenty who don't get caught.
Yeah,
I'm sure there's some guy that's never been caught. I mean,
shit,
some
man. Out of all the years I've done, you know, I've only maybe went down like 3 times.
Oh, that's not
shit.
in all the years you did. Yeah, that's
But
not,
you know, of course, like you know, it's a game. You know, it's a cat and mouse game. Like you know, if you don't learn quickly, you don't belong in it. You know, it's
like being Batman.
Yeah,
for real, because you got to be in shape for some of the shit that I've seen these cats
man.
do.
Fuck, dude. Man.
I had a friend who broke his leg, like
yeah.
climbing fences and shit. And
yeah.
Yeah, what's the worst? Like you ever like? I mean, you said danger, but has there ever been danger? Like you? I remember what was his name? Artist Dream. He got killed while painting, right? Was that him? I don't know if you.
I don't think he got killed while painting. But,
no?
I mean, I know he got killed, but maybe my faction. But don't quote me on that.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not saying. I that's what I thought I heard. Because it's weird. You don't.
But
it's hard to find.
He did
like,
get killed, but I don't know the facts.
Oh yeah, but it is dangerous though. Like I remember.
Yeah, definitely that.
Well, I went out with a couple of guys just to kind of see, you know, what they were doing, and. Yeah, dude. There's like, you know, I'll stay here. I'm not gonna. I'm a fat guy. I can't really climb. You know, and some of these dudes like climb and it really, like, man, like if the people that are buffing this shit out see all hard work it takes for these guys to get there and make it happen, it make you not want to buff that shit out.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, this guy just, you know, he fucked up his shoes. He's got paint all over him, and he climbed and then you're gonna just. Get a little fucking lift and
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah.
So obviously you consider yourself an artist, and how do you see this being accepted as a serious art by the general public and not just, you know, nonprofit organizations?
Well, I mean, I think it's being accepted now because it definitely has a different title to it. You know, it's no longer called graffiti; it's considered street art. So, you know, this whole shift in title is now it floods literally the doors to have now what this graffiti style, quote unquote, you know, now in being more acceptable. Because I mean, if you walk down to some financial district in San Francisco, they got graffiti pieces in there.
They got
like,
big old alleys with hella stuff.
Bro, it's like, you know, it's you know, it's accepted because it's no longer titled. They don't consider it straight out. And vandalism. to get they don't consider vandalism. And to get some value out of it, of course they got it. You know, so now a lot of graffiti writers don't consider themselves graffiti writers now. Everybody's a street artist now. Like, ooh, shit, you know, like.
That kind of brings
it's this whole title, you know. That's of course just now it's a whole shift, but you know it's a good thing and at the same time it's a bad thing because now you have this culture, you know, the culture vultures that are obviously, you know, coming in and
hacks.
It's kind of like hacks, you know, just kind of like the weed industry right now. Like everybody that was doing it on the low now is getting fucked, and like and now you have all these people that are just like flooding the industry that just don't give a flying crap of, you know, of the culture, but you know they're just want to reap the benefits of what it does, you know, what it does bring.
What do you think helped? Well, because it already is you said it already, the shift has already started. Like, what has helped that? Like, you think there's a specific artist or a specific thing that is helping that cross over into, like, you know, like they're considering it legitimate art? Because I mean, I remember watching the movie Infamy at an early age, and that made me think of it differently because I was also hanging out with these guys that I knew they really cared about the art. It wasn't just like they're destroying, you know, they really cared about and I remember some dudes would get into it like, oh, you cross me over, I'm gonna fucking, you know, like
man, at the end of the day, you know, fuck the titles, dude, you know. Like if more artwork is being out there and is being spread and there's more and more people have more access to paint and and more shit is being put out there on a daily basis, then hey, bro, I'm up for it, man. Like, fuck the title, like, paint, you know, like everything, you know, screw it, like, because it's really the only form of art that is like somewhat going against corporate America, you know. It's like it's like the front line, really, man. It's nobody. It's punk rock, bro. It's nobody else is like, who else is pursuing that, you know, besides the graph and like in the Mission, bro. Like all the Mission graph writers are bombing the crap out of all the new shit because it's a form of
protest.
It's a form of protest and a way to kind of slow down the process, bro. Because like, what do you do, bro, when you're getting invaded, bro?
Yeah.
Like, shit, dude.
And it's happening like
The
here
fuck
now
did
too.
you do,
everywhere.
bro? Hey, fuck. If they're taking over, vandalize it, bro. Fucking
claim it back.
Claim it back, or do something to see, like, so them to see that, oh shit, there's some shit going down. Like maybe slow down a bit.
Yeah.
Now we need community input. Fuck, you know. Okay, yeah. Why is shit getting vandalized now? Okay, cool. Well, what's going, you know?
Yeah.
Like, if those, you know, I guess you could call it a radical action, but, you know, if some of those steps have, you know, never been done, then some people would have never been on a meeting table, you know, discussing what the fuck is going on to this community, you know, to the neighborhoods. And, you know, it's, of course, it's a double-edged sword, you know, and I think that's always going to be, that graffiti is always going to have that stigma, you know, of just, you know, it's, you know, I guess it comes down to your perspective, I guess, right? To individual perspective, and you know, to what benefits you, right?
Yeah, I think if you get to,
like, how is this like? Because obviously, if you own a house and if your shit's getting tagged up, now your house value is going down, bro. So fuck, now I hate graffiti, bro. Like, fuck those guys, dude. I'm trying to sell my house, you know. But me being like, I'm broke as shit. I want to paint the world, you know. Like, hey, fuck yeah, you know. Like, more art, bro. Fuck yeah, you know.
How does that affect?
You know, like I said, it's perspective, bro. Really.
Yeah, that's actually, man. You brought up a good question. Like for yourself, like the way your house looks. Like, I mean, white walls. Is there white walls in your house? You know, because I imagine you'd want to.
Yeah. Definitely white walls, because I have no control over it. No, that's my lady, you know. And like,
okay.
And I keep all my shit in the studio, you know, and like
that's why it's good to
like
separate.
I said, yeah, man, I definitely gotta have your boundaries, man. Definitely have solid boundaries.
Because you can see.
And
I have no. It's like no, and then go back to bed, and you know. But that's why I ask, you know, because.
Yeah, I definitely, just so I can have a sense of, you know,
keeps you sane, huh?
Keeps me sane, man. Not be in it 24/7, and like, you know, and then I guess me now, you know, treating it as a business, as far as now it's no longer a hobby, kind of like now I got to be up, you know, more on point on everything, and definitely there's another added stress level to it, you know, and definitely, you know, I definitely want to clock out of it too, you know, like, and just do something else besides art, you know. Yeah. And focus on family, gardening, you know. Yeah.
You're a father, huh?
Yeah. I have a young daughter, so you know, just playing some, you know, trying to be a good dad and pass on some good things. So
that's what kind of pushed you more to away from the street stuff in a bit, being a father, or not really?
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, you know,
definitely.
It was a huge turning point. You know, definitely makes you you know, I've been in very close call situations more than once where I've been like, man, just a hair, you know, where you know, you really test that fine line between life and death, and like you know, and some of those things is what kind of keeps you up at night sometimes, bro. Just knowing that, what if, you know, like it's, you know, it brings back some definitely some emotions, man. Because like definitely feel blessed to be here, because I've definitely, you know, had some close calls. So it's always definitely got to be some change, man. There's got to be some evolve. Got to evolve somehow, some way, mentally, and move and constantly change, man. Because if you go down the same road, it's obviously not gonna end too well. So yeah, there's got to be some change, man. And that's not to say that, you know, I mean, go back and catch a little tag here and there, but like,
When you find a good spot, huh? Like,
yeah,
I think I can get away with it here.
Yeah, but I think for the most part, it's in my past. And,
no, for sure.
Yeah, focusing on trying to bring more positive work and really just push the boundaries too, and really see where I can take this thing, and.
You ever thought about teaching art? Or do you teach art? I think you mentioned something.
I've done some workshops, workshops, kind of like 2-3 day workshops, but not really necessarily taught a class or anything like that. But
like a Bob Ross,
maybe, yeah, maybe later down the road. But
we gotta do a skit of a Bob Ross skit, but like on a wall.
I know, yeah, that'd be get an afro on you and get like a white wall and like paint a little happy little words.
I got a little happy bush. Little happy berries.
Do some bong rips before you paint, because
Yeah.
So you do workshops. You like where at?
If somebody wanted these are like collaborations with the nonprofit,
okay.
some local organizations. I've done a few with Urban Tilth. So I did a few with them where kind of painting some of the garden beds and trying to get kids out to really be engaged, and something that just painting something for a day or two can continue bringing them out, and really engage more in community gardens, and that's really where community is built, so I think having more of that and feeling more of a community and having those spaces to have that is definitely gives more opportunity to have more workshops with other organizations and continue really doing it.
One thing you mentioned earlier that I didn't get to ask you too much about was you said you're getting familiar with welding and carpentry for art, like for future stuff that you want to pursue with art. And I know this happens with a lot of people involved in like murals and graffiti. I don't know. I got to ask you now because I thought you were also in the tattooing. Was that something you were doing, or I'm maybe mistaking?
No,
I've only known you through social media, so I could have sworn I thought you were in the tattooing.
No, I tattooed for a little bit when I was a kid, when I was younger.
Oh damn!
When I was like I might have been 16, 17, man. I tried it, man. I tattooed a few people, and I was just kind of like. I don't know, man. It just wasn't my. Yeah. It just wasn't my thing. I did it. I did enjoy it. I definitely pushed my boundaries as far as my sketching.
Yeah.
Like I definitely feel when I was in that mindset of tattooing, like I feel my sketching. It completely improved my sketching because now you're putting some work on somebody's body, and this thing's gonna last. So and I think being in that time and that mindset definitely improved my drawing skills a lot. But I've always just gravitated to paint, man. I love paint, man. I love
the smell of it.
The smell of it, the touch, like the fact that it just gets everywhere, bro. And you just kind of, you have no control over it, man. It's just kind of like having that ability to create nothing out of just water. Just kind of like liquid, it's always blown my mind. So I've always just, to me, I think that's why I just stuck to paint, painting.
That's your core. That's always been your core.
It's always been my core to everything.
With for your, like, in the future, I mean, you want to keep doing the everything you're doing now, but like something still related to the arts that you like. What's your, I guess, what do you see yourself in the future doing for long term? I mean,
definitely evolving more in the arts, moving more towards doing more sculptures. I did a sculpture for the city of Richmond on 16th Street in Ohio. For the 16th Street Park. And then that was also a collaboration with Urban Tilth. Okay. And pretty much moving in that direction of just pursuing. When I was working with Pogo Park and Scientific Art Studios, I did a lot of learned a lot of play structure design and how to design build large sculptures and just rigging and cutting and welding and a little bit of everything. So I think definitely opening up my own art studio that's definitely and not just for myself, but to also be a place of a school and knowledge. My partner's also a teacher, so
Okay.
we want to open kind of like a place where we can hold
awesome.
workshops and teach
Nice.
classes. So and really keep on passing the torch down, man. That's kind of what it, you know, and living the lights of the life of the arts, I guess.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. I always admire, you know, because it's all stuff that's coming from your brain. Like, you know, I mean, with any artist, you know, it's all stuff that's coming from your brain, and it's interesting to see, well, someone that doesn't do that, you know, like, wow, this is like just something you're painting the picture, you're putting out what you have up here. You know?
Yeah.
And it's helpful to have people around you that can inspire that, or someone that you can go to that inspires that. Because, you know, I mean, the world works is just produce, work, and it doesn't really sometimes have time for that. You know, like I like spending time with him because we could joke around, and that pushes our thing like to the next level. Like, oh shit, you know, we're trying new things. Is you can't have these, even some people you love, you can't really have some of these conversations with that push those boundaries of what you know, what you could do on, like what you could put on paper or on a canvas. So that's awesome, man, because I think that's important for kids now, and especially in the communities that we come from.
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, a lot of you know, I think you know, the arts is always like kind of discouraged because they don't see like a you know, to make a life, to live off of it, you know. And it's and I think, you know, definitely being able to, I guess, you know, show them that, you know, there is, you can, you know, but it's a lot of hard work, but you know, it's
your proof.
It's yeah, like you know, I suck, you know, I mean in the, as far as some aspects of my business, and you know, like, you know, things that I don't get done on time, or something that's slack off a little bit, but
administrative stuff.
And like, and you know, like I said, like it gets to a point where it no longer is kind of, I don't feel like it's art. It's just kind of like my business, and I'm just trying to crank work out, you know, not, you know, the work, you know, so it's like, it's really trying to have, like I said, just setting boundaries for all these projects and making sure that I don't lose myself in where I lose my creative freedom.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I think it was for a lot of those like Beethovens and Michelangelos. I think that was the situation too. We give them a lot of credit for being like the greatest artists ever, but it's like a lot of them was that they had to meet deadlines, and they were getting paid for a lot of the stuff that they did. And
a lot of shit,
you know, they're
man.
humans, and I can't imagine that they behaved any differently. Where it's like,
you know,
you slack off for 60% of the time that you get, and it's like, all right, it's the deadline's almost here. Let me finish up these naked fat dudes.
Well,
you know?
Any kind of
it's a huge sacrifice, man. It's everything is time consuming, from producing the work to actually administrating the whole thing, and going to the meetings and whatnot, and like it's definitely a full-time job, and like and to me, actually, I never really saw pursuing the arts to what it is now. Like I always just kind of saw it as I went to the right after high school. I went to the Art Institute of San Francisco. I went there for a year, and I really want to pursue the arts, and I wanted to be like try to get a degree and see what the hell happens. And then like once my dad didn't want to co-sign my loan,
dang.
so it's like I had no other option but to just drop out. So from there, I just got discouraged from the arts, man, and I never really looked at it as a potentially to see it as a career. It's not till I actually was pursuing a career in the UFC, trying to fight, man. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
It's kind of weird.
Were you into like training and stuff?
I did jujitsu for I did jiu-jitsu. I only did it for a year, man, but the first 6 months at the gym where I was at in San Ramon, I ended up beating their top guy in 6 months in.
Nice. Oh, damn.
And they ended up sponsoring me to continue fighting, and they gave me free classes, Muay Thai classes, American kickboxing classes,
nice,
and all these MMA classes, and I had I was gonna enter my first competition for jiu-jitsu, and the weekend before, I caught it was my friend's birthday party, and we all went out to the city, and then pretty much one of my buddies got into a fight, and so I ended up grabbing him, and in the process I ended up KOing a cop.
Oh.
So
hold on, don't gloss over that. Don't gloss over that.
It was just like, you know, I didn't, you know, somebody, like, I'm holding my friend trying to prevent him from fighting, and somebody just grabs me. And my instant reaction from my training, it's like, you know, it's my instinct, you know, came in, and I ended up catching a battery, a
police officer.
Police officer. I was in jail for like, what?
They should have hired you.
I was in jail for a week and a half.
Oh, shit. No, get this guy. Whatever the cop's name, fire him. Get this guy in. Fucking decorate a new logo for us. He's in. Like,
yeah, man. So
crazy.
Yeah, for like
oh shit.
For
they squandered an opportunity to recruit you.
Yeah, man, they missed out.
Yeah, because you're a big dude. I can imagine that, man, fucking somebody up. So how did you knock him out? Like a pie? Like just?
Nah, just kind of just turned around, and I just kind of just hit him in the face. You know, I just punched him and then. You know, just
he's got a gun.
You know, just him going down, and you know, obviously he's asleep. You know, so he's like, and then next thing you know, I got like 20 cops on. You know what I mean? And like, I got like 5 knees on my head. You know, and yeah, it was pretty bad. And obviously that ruined everything. You know that
because you get your license taken away, right?
No, well, I mean, I was in the process of registering my hands. I was in the process of going legit, going into being a legit fighter and stuff. Because I lost like 15 pounds, dude, to try to make the fight, you know, and like, so I was already I was a week away from my fight, man. And pretty much lost everything. So it kind of, that was a huge blow, because what I saw the arts as my career, because I went to school for that, and not like dropping out of school, and like, you know, just I kind of fell into a depression, you know. I just kind of want to do something else. So, and I've been playing chess since I was a kid, man. So jiu-jitsu just came naturally, to me. So it was a huge blow, because I didn't know what to do after that, you know.
You're a natural warrior then. That's what kind of, you're an artist, but you're not naturally, I mean, it seems to me like anything you could have decided to be, you would have been great at. I mean, the thing you really like the most is art, so that's good. Yeah. And in a way, I guess it's a blessing that happened, because you got you back to art.
Yeah, I gotta, you know, after you know, that was a huge low point, because I've invested almost 2 years in training and really pursuing this to a point where, you know, I could knock somebody out, you know, like really. You know, and then so it was a huge blow, man. And then I guess from there, it's just like, that's kind of where that's where I felt like kind of went back into the graph, you know, and to just kind of deal with the anger, bro. Cause you know, I didn't know what else to do, bro. Like, trust me, bro, if you go spray paint a yard for 2 hours, bro, you'll come out feeling amazing, dude. I don't care what anybody says. You're like, shh, you know, it's like yelling, you know, just it just felt great, and like having that rush again from fighting, you know, it's kind of it's almost the same shit. It's like a fight or flight, you know. Like in fighting, like there is no running, bro. No, you're in it, you know. So
it's sparring,
but it's triggering that excitement. What's it called? That adrenaline. Yeah. So you know, I think after doing that, and like you know, going back to graph, it's like I was hooked back on it, because it gave me that same adrenaline rush, bro, that I needed, that fight or flight, you know. And like so it's kind of no ever since that I just kind of just went cold turkey, man. Just kind of never once again. I don't think I punched another punching bag ever since.
Oh, no way.
No, man. Just kind of. It's kind of weird, man.
Yeah, that's
now that because I'm looking at it, I'm looking at the punching bag in the back.
I used to do boxing in the earlier days, and like sparring. You know, it's crazy because when you're sparring, there's something that happens where you don't really feel pain.
Yeah.
And it's a very therapeutic thing, man. Like it's you know, I have fun doing it when I did it, and I just do that to kind of like I'm trying to lose weight again, but it's a good way to. It's a good form of exercise. Yeah. And I find that more fun than like being on a treadmill.
But, exactly.
And I put it there on purpose so that when I get up and I'm feeling lazy, like I get to that, you know.
Start whacking the shit out of it. Yeah. I do the same thing.
And man. I like whenever we like that rush, whatever you can do that, get it. Like I get that from when I perform. And I have a really good set, like, and it's like laughter. That laughter kind of is like a drug, man. Like,
right,
addicting. It is so addicting.
It's addicting, dude. And you'll go through a whole whatever.
It's a whole new wave of a new emotions, bro. Because then it's
endorphins coming out and like
bro. Because then you just have all this, you know, like new attention, you know, and like or new perspectives on how people see you and stuff, you know.
Yeah. And it's something very personal that you're sharing with them, you know, that you kind of developed, you know, in your room and then you share it and they get a good reaction because it's something that makes them feel connected to you in a human way. It's and I'm sure it's the same with that, you know, when you have art shows, is there anywhere?
No, I kind of just been just kind of been focusing on a lot of the mural work takes a lot of time and is time consuming. So, but I am going to be just showcasing some artwork at the Richmond Art Center for the winter show.
Oh, okay.
It's coming up in a few weeks. So,
okay,
is that open to the public?
Correct. Yes.
Do you have a date or?
No, I don't.
Because I would love to maybe, you know,
we should make a trip out.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't have the exact dates, but
it's all good. We can.
I'll link up.
If you can send me the link, and I would definitely like so we can hopefully put this out.
Yeah, it's the Richmond Art Center put out a call for artists for all Richmond local artists.
Oh.
So so anybody that lives in Richmond, it's like the house that does any type of artwork, like it's gonna be in that show. At least I submitted. You know?
Okay. Yeah.
So, I submitted 4 pieces. So
nice. We can catch your artwork there. Is there any other way we can like? I know a while back I had contact because you were selling some of your art. Where can someone? How can someone reach out to you for art? Like if they wanted to hire you or buy some of your art.
Well, a lot of the work that I do is a lot of it is commission work, and you know it's kind of. So the pieces that I do sell are, I mean, a lot of pieces that I do paint are already sold, you know.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a lot of it's commission work, and so it's friends or whoever have done paintings for restaurants or and certain people and stuff. So but the work that I do on my own, like usually whatever I do post just kind of sells pretty quickly, so I don't really last long.
Yeah.
So I don't really have too much stuff to. You have anything to sell? I'm like, not really.
You're like a taco man. He just sells right on the spot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, and then we're actually planning a huge art show at the Shop Studios.
Oh yeah.
Where I got 20 new pieces, and we're gonna have a bunch of prints, and I'm really just trying to focus a little bit more on pushing forward. The work, my art, and some canvases and stuff. So it's gonna be in these upcoming weeks too. But before the year ends, and also I'll send you a link on that.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, we'll
stuff like that once we start get that going. But so that's something for everybody out there to look out.
And your I know you have your Instagram. It's r.m Salazar.
R_M_Salazar SALAZAR.
Okay.
And my Facebook is Richard Salazar. I really don't hop on it, you know, so sorry, yo.
But you have art there that people can look at.
I have some stuff, you know, and whatever is in there is probably because my girlfriend put it.
Oh, okay, right on. But yeah, man, I've had a good time talking to you. I appreciate you coming out, taking the time to talk to us. Would definitely like to check out the art. You got anything you want to plug, or before we end up here, anything you want to like talk about before? Any last?
I just want to say thank you, man, for giving me the opportunity to talk, you know, and say a few little things. Hopefully motivate a few people.
Yeah,
and,
no, you definitely, man.
And like,
good.
keep on painting, man. Fuck the titles, yo. Like, or the, just do it, man. Whatever projects or ideas you have, just go for it, man. Don't doubt yourself, man. Just, there's no such thing as trying, man. If you're doing it, you're doing it. So
that's good.
Do it, man. And till it goes somewhere.
Till the casket drops.
Yeah.
Right on, man. Thank you for coming. And that's been the Voice Party.
Man.
We're out.